Hey everybody, it's Bruce with BBR Comedy. It's been a long time, and yes, I do have a sassy new haircut thanks to my daughter. Huh? Wanted to talk to you about a movie, the Mr. Rogers movie, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, and it is absolutely amazing. If you haven't seen it and you don't want any spoilers, then watch this after you watch the movie. Extremely deep, and awesome movie. He was a walking, living example of what it is to live out your purpose and use your calling to serve other people. He did a lot of things really well. People would say he listened well, he spoke well, he led well. What at the core of all of it though, it's because he cared. He deeply, deeply cared. When he asked you how you were doing, you couldn't just say fine. He actually cared and prayed for so many, many people that he knew and met. In the movie, he develops this relationship, and it's a true story based on a true story of his relationship with this journalist who was going through a very difficult time in life and going through some nasty stuff with his dad and dealing with unforgiveness. And he went to interview Mr. Rogers, and he turned the table on this guy and started asking him questions. Well, the guy was frustrated because I'm here to ask the questions. He said, well, that wasn't the way Mr. Rogers worked. So this guy found himself talking more and more with Mr. Rogers and developing a very deep friendship with him. There was a scene in the movie that was so genius that the guy and Mr. Rogers were sitting in a booth in a restaurant, and the guy was so mad at his dad. This guy hated his dad. And Mr. Rogers told him, look, your dad, part of the reason you are who you are is because of your dad. So take 1 minute and think about all the people that have made you you. Just and be silent. And the whole restaurant went silent because this guy was just blocking everything out. And Mr. Rogers went, it was very subtle. He went from looking at the guy to just like this to just a slight eye shift. And he was staring into the camera for about 30 seconds, because what he was doing, the message they were sending is, he's looking at you. He's asking you to do that. He's asking you to be silent and think of all the people that have impacted your life. Unbelievable. And at the end of the movie, we ended the movie and I thought, wow, that was really cool, but that movie wasn't about, I mean, yeah, it was about Mr. Rogers, but man, it was more about that guy, the journalist guy. I didn't expect that. It's kind of a weird, and then I thought, wait a minute. That is about Mr. Rogers. If that movie had been about Mr. Rogers, it wouldn't have been about Mr. Rogers. But by making it about someone else, it made it about his life, because that's how he lived it. So man, whatever your gift is, whatever your calling is, whatever you love doing, do it for other people. That's the message I got out of that, man. You're gifted for a reason, and it's not so that you can just hold on to it. I was talking to somebody the other day, and I said, I honestly believe if I had to live my whole life without ever laughing again, if I had to pick between never laughing again and never being able to make someone laugh again, ever, I would give up laughing in a heartbeat because of the high I get off making someone else laugh. Not because it makes me feel good about myself, but because I know that it's taken them away from their storm for even if it's 30 seconds. Because that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to do what Mr. Rogers did, and that's care and use our gifts to serve other people. So do it, especially in this time that we're going through right now. Thanks, guys.